Car chases are dangerous and unpredictable. Viewer discretion advised.
We want to show that to you. Let's go upstairs to Desmond Shaw in SkyCal for a look. Desmond.
Yes, Susie, here we are on Chino Hills Parkway. So this came out of Orange County, actually out of the La Habra area. You can see it looks like a stolen work truck is what we're hearing. And what they're saying is that this was unreported, which basically just means that this was very, very fresh stolen, possibly within the last couple of hours or today, and just wasn't entered into the system. So if how they were able to identify this, find this vehicle, not unclear at this point. But it looks to be a commercial work truck here, going to go underneath the 71 freeway. Stand by as we come onto the other side of this. And this one took a really roundabout way to get here out of La Habra. They actually came up Carbon Canyon, went through the Sleepy Hollow neighborhood, and we just intercepted it over here in the Chino Hills area. Are they gonna, oh, it almost looked like they were maybe gonna go the wrong way up that off-ramp there, but it continues now as we are making our way into the Inland Empire, a stolen vehicle out of Orange County, now on the border of Riverside and San Bernardino County. Susie.
All right, I want to bring in Mike Rogers from the desk. You have some more information for us, Mike. Go ahead.
Yeah, so we've been monitoring this. As we mentioned, it started with La Habra police. And when Des talks about unreported stolen, that's what CHP is calling this, an unreported 10851 is the vehicle code for that. It likely means that the theft was probably witnessed. Which is, why law enforcement was able to get behind it. Generally, with stolen vehicles, once they're entered into the system, there's a law enforcement database, and an officer can run a plate, or an automatic license plate reader can pick it up, and then they'll get a notification that the vehicle was stolen. In this situation, because it was never entered in, they likely either witnessed this or somebody witnessed it quick enough to get La Habra police behind it. Now, this is also still La Habra PD that is chasing this, even though we are now in a whole different county out here in the Chino Hills, San Bernardino area. I did talk to CHP briefly. They do have their helicopter overhead. We've got Angel, which is Anaheim police helicopter overhead, as well as the CHP helicopter. Both have been on this the whole time. No details at all about the theft right now. We've got some calls out to La Habra PD, the watch commander over there, obviously busy dealing with this right now, especially since his units have not relinquished the pursuit to any other agencies. So what are the circumstances behind this? Was it stolen? I mean, was it, is the person armed? All of that is still yet to be known. It is interesting to me, though, that we do have 2 law enforcement helicopters over it. Generally, CHP looked like they were already up, but it was interesting to me that when Anaheim came over, CHP didn't get rid of it. Both CHP and Anaheim are both overhead, and I'm just looking to see if there's any San Bernardino law enforcement helicopters that are going to come help out as well. But, Susie and Chauncey, not an easy vehicle to hide.
Sure.
This is, it's pretty big. There's a lot of stuff on here, which also makes it very dangerous. You probably won't see a pit maneuver just because of the heaviness of the truck. If they pit it, it could flip and all kinds of other issues.
Right, and also talking about your speed too, Mike, it seems like this may have been going on a while. You talk about it starting in La Habra and now entering IE. How long do we think this has been going on?
We've been tracking it at least, I want to say, since about 8:20. So we're probably, coming up on 45 minutes. But yeah, Chauncey, La Habra, Brea, kind of the north end of Yorba Linda, and then through Carbon Canyon, which I don't know that I've ever seen a chase go through Carbon Canyon, and then into Chino Hills, and now we're in Chino. So he is covering, I say he, but the driver is covering quite the ground. And, Des talks about it all the time, the pursuit package on the tinted windows there, those look to be very tinted, and I'm trying to Cisco. So Cisco looks like the company that owns this truck. That's at least what's on the side of the door.
Yeah, and this can be very dangerous too. You talked about how big this truck is, and a work truck, of course, can't go up to big speeds, but this can be very dangerous. Which at one point you thought they were going to try to do that pit maneuver, but they backed off of that.
Sure. Let's go back upstairs to Desmond Shaw in SkyCal for an update. Now, Desmond, have you seen any other methods, like maybe a spike strip during this whole thing?
They haven't seen that attempt yet, and this vehicle hasn't been traveling at very high speed, so it certainly seems like if they wanted to give that a try, it would be possible. But we are dealing with a smaller agency here. I'm not sure that I've ever covered a pursuit involving La Habra PD, so it's unclear what their procedures are going to be, what kind of temperament their watch commander, whoever is in charge over there, is going to have. As kind of stopped behind this tree right here, kind of looked like the suspect was a little indecisive about what they wanted to do as we make this turn now onto Edison Avenue. And, do they want to try a spike strip? Again, it would be possible, but there's only a couple of units that are in pursuit, I believe. Widen out while we're on these kind of low speeds. You have, 3 that are involved on this one right here, and then the two airships overhead. Kind of surprising that they haven't tried to hand this off at any point. And they probably could have handed it off to CHP because Carbon Canyon is a numbered highway that I believe would be CHP jurisdiction. So they just seem like they really want to stick with this one. And not sure what that is sticking out of the other side of that work truck right there. From one angle, it almost looked like one of those kind of extensions that would service like a telephone line or but I don't think that is what is sticking out of the side of that work truck. But regardless, here paralleling the 60 freeway on Edison Avenue, it covered a lot of ground. You know, this is a truck that's not going to get very good gas mileage either, so you really wonder how much gas this vehicle has and how much longer they can continue, especially now with these insane gas prices that we've had. It's, you know, not uncommon for people to avoid topping off the tank, just put in 20 here, 30 there. So definitely worth wondering. Obviously, we don't know that, but this is definitely a gas-guzzling vehicle as we just continue to kind of wind our way into the Inland Empire here in the Chino Hills.
Yeah, gas guzzling, but certainly moving at a very slow rate of speed tonight as we go through these streets in Ontario. It doesn't look like the La Habra Police Department is trying any kind of attempt to stop this car as far as we know right now. But of course, they are in communication with each other to talk about what is their next course of action, obviously. This is a very narrow street that we're looking at right now. Looks like a residential area, but as we've been talking about, this pursuit has been going on for a while now. The good part of at least 30 minutes as far as we know. Again, if you're just joining us here on KCAL, this is breaking news of a pursuit by the La Habra Police Department. It started with a stolen truck. We believe this is a Cisco truck, and it was stolen, and now they're after this person, but we don't know how many people are inside this truck. Is the person or the driver inside this truck armed? What else are we talking about outside of stealing this vehicle that they're running from tonight?
And now we're making a southbound turn here on Eucalyptus Avenue. So this company Cisco, it's not the Cisco that does the telecommunication stuff. I believe that company is CISCO. This is CYSCO, which I know there was a Cisco, like a food distribution company. Yeah. This doesn't, I mean, I remember working at my first ever job, a bowling alley snack bar, and we always had the big Cisco truck that delivered all the onion rings and the chicken strips and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, not sure what other businesses Cisco is involved in, but here again, we could see that logo here. And, you know, this looks kind of like a big utility truck, like a work truck. So maybe it might be lots of tools and stuff in the back here. Obviously, this doesn't look like a food delivery vehicle. That would be one of those big box trucks. But, you know, and then you're stealing a vehicle that Mike said kind of sticks out like a sore thumb. Yeah. This isn't just a generic black SUV or a white sedan. You've got a logo on both sides of the door, and you've got this kind of work configuration here for the bed of the truck. So speed's picking up a little bit though here, 53 miles an hour. Fortunately, you know, well past rush hour and whatever. So not too much in the way of traffic out here. Let's see what La Habra PD's, they're kind of getting up like they might want to do a pit maneuver. That's kind of the position they get into when they want to do that. But I can't remember ever seeing a pit attempt on a vehicle like this. Like Mike was saying, they might have some reservations just because of the shape and the weight of this vehicle. But as they were closing in, the speed's picking up a little bit here. Now it looks like the road is paved. It's, as I widen out, it looks like this is probably maybe a future subdivision or something like that. A lot of construction going on. You see some fences there and some big dirt lots. You know, Chino, this area, Chino, Ontario, South Ontario. Lots of farms, lots of wide open fields, lots of new housing divisions. It's kind of always been what we've seen over the last couple of decades in this area. So we'll see where the street goes, Eucalyptus Avenue. If this goes all the way through, I believe it does. We are paralleling the 60 freeway, though we are pretty well south of that. But you can see lots of cones and widening out here, and you can see it does look like big housing divisions, subdivisions that are being built out here. So it's pretty dark out in this area, I can tell you that.
Hi, Desmond. You're watching KCAL News at 9, and joining Desmond Shaw and Mike Rogers, myself, Pat Harvey, and Juan Fernandez. And we just wanted to make sure that we got our show open and welcome our viewers You are watching a high-speed pursuit of like a utility truck of some kind. I believe Mike said this was like a food delivery company, Cisco. And we have La Habra Police behind. Not sure if CHP is involved as well. No, at this moment, I guess just La Habra Police. And Desmond, I don't know. Looking at this, I keep thinking that this officer is going to attempt to do a pit maneuver, which seems unlikely because of the size of this truck, but one never knows, do they?
Well, no, it's a good point, Pat. It's really kind of hard to say. The way that they were coming up, almost like they wanted to, and then, you know, if the watch commander said not to do that, or if they were just trying to get up close to see if they could, I don't know, maybe get a look at the driver or something like that. I mean, if they were wanting to do that, and they were authorized to do that, now probably would be the time, because there's like no other traffic on this road. There's no parked cars. You can see there's just kind of like, you know, big dirt shoulders here on the side of this road, where you can widen out and show you the area we're talking about. Awfully dark, looks to be most likely future subdivisions here on the edge of Ontario and Chino. They're pretty close behind this guy, but no pit maneuver attempt yet. And still kind of these lower, this is probably the fastest we've seen, between 45, 55 miles an hour. They took a long time to come through Carbon Canyon, though, coming out of the city of Brea, probably only at about 30 miles an hour. So at least not a high-speed pursuit, no serious danger to the public yet at this point, but regardless, refusing to give up for La Habra PD.
Obviously, this is somebody's work truck. Mike Rogers over at the desk. It was reported stolen at some point. Do we know when police figured out, hey, this is the truck we're looking for?
Well, so that's what we're sorting out right now. So CHP has been aware of this because they have a helicopter overhead. They have Anaheim PD's helicopter, as well as the CHP helicopter. And when they were talking about it on the CHP radios, they called it an unreported stolen, which unreported stolen could just mean it was either very recently taken and there hasn't been time for the report to be completed and entered into the system. It could have been witnessed. Somebody could have called and said, hey, this guy just stole my truck. Here's the way it's going. You know, another thing we should point out with these work trucks, Cisco is a huge company. They're a massive wholesale restaurant. There's another Cisco truck, isn't it? Oh, no, that's a different company. It looks like Cisco for a second.
Yeah. You mean that cab right there?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. But it's very likely that this truck has GPS on it. A lot of these companies spend a lot of money to GPS their whole fleets, so that's also a possibility here. But regardless, it appears that this was probably more recently stolen since it hadn't had time to be reported and entered into the system yet.
You know what? Did we just see a maneuver there where it, like they were trying to avoid something? I thought I saw a swerve.
I did see that
Desmond,
too.
Can you tell us about that? I mean, I didn't see any officer on the side of the road there that could have possibly thrown down a spike strip. But then again, it's dark outside. So what do you know?
Yeah, I didn't see a spike strip or anything like that. If maybe the driver just wasn't paying attention for a second and kind of jerked on the side of the wheel, wasn't sure it happened so quickly. But it is awfully dark out there. Haven't heard about any spike strips or anything in the offing. To my knowledge, I mean, you've just got these 3 cruisers here from La Habra PD that have been in pursuit the entire time from the ground, and then you know, there's almost as many helicopters in the air as there are units on the ground. You have these 2 helicopters up there. You know, usually with these other agencies, sheriff's deputies, LAPD, or CHP, we'll see a lot more vehicles than this as we come through the middle of that intersection. Pretty big intersection through that red light. Fortunately, though, traffic very light out at this point. You know, if this would have been a couple hours earlier, rush hour traffic, especially folks coming back out to their homes in this area from, you know, commuting points further west, it could certainly be a lot more dangerous than it is right now. So it just seems so far like La Habra PD is content to stick with this, hope that the truck doesn't have too much gas in the tank and is, you know, going to guzzle whatever few gallons they're hoping are left, and you know, maybe that's how this is going to end.
And that officer who's just behind there, Pat, I was noticing he came pretty close to the back bumper. I don't know if he's trying to maybe take a look at the driver through the side mirror here. I mean, this is pretty close, right? I mean,
yeah, that's why one could have thought for a moment that they were going to try a pit maneuver because they seemed to go on the side of this vehicle, but that didn't happen. And, you know, the size of this truck probably would not. You know, I'm interested in finding out, has this person been driving at a relatively moderate rate of speed? I see, Mike, you're shaking your head.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's as far as pursuits go, this is fairly calm. I mean, he's going 40 miles an hour. Even through Carbon Canyon, he was going about 30. I thought what was interesting to me so far is he's had the opportunity to hit several freeways and hasn't. He could have gone up to 57. He could have gone down to 71. He's had a couple opportunities, and actually we're approaching the 15 right now as well. So he just has not had any interest in getting on the freeway, which is kind of interesting to me, which is probably the detriment to La Habra, because if he got on the freeway, CHP would be more willing to take it.
Yeah. And the interest, here's making a right-hand turn there. And obviously the interest in this, this thief was hopefully get to whatever was inside this truck, work equipment, tools and whatnot. And when Des gave us a closer shot of the back, you can see those back doors seem to be open. So I don't know if perhaps they tried to get into that back area there. But there's a gate right in front of it. But you can see that back door is kind of open a little bit.
Okay, well, Desmond, describe what we're looking at now.
Yeah.
Looks even darker. He's on a, well, all right.
Yeah,
I thought he was going to make another turn, but no. Go ahead.
I was just checking with my pilot Dylan, who's looking up ahead. This is Haven Avenue here, and just to see, just to refresh my memory, if Haven goes all the way through, and it does go down quite some ways down towards Corona. So this person, not likely to run into a dead end or anything. They have been sticking, for the most part, to fairly major roads. They were in kind of a residential development briefly, but we're getting so far away from where this started. You just have to wonder: does this person have any idea where they are, or is this the plan? They are headed to somewhere. Maybe they know this area perfectly. It's always kind of the will they or won't they, or just where are we at in this pursuit? How much gas is in the tank? Maybe there's only a few gallons. Maybe they topped this off before it got stolen. It could have been the last thing before this vehicle was stolen from that Cisco employee. So there's just so many unknowns at this point, but we sure have come a long ways out of this one, and just seems kind of aimless. But southbound on Haven, picking up speeds again though, now almost at 60 miles an hour, and speed limit's probably only about 40 on this street right here. So kind of making our way just towards the Corona area, kind of between the 60 and the 91 right now, southbound on well, I think it just turned into Sumner Avenue.
All right, you know, they look kind of, oh, that's tight squeeze.
Tight squeeze for sure.
They're going to make that turn, or they'll keep going. At first, they looked rather hesitant for a moment. Remember, they were at a light, and it looks like they were kind of deciding, okay, well, where am I going to go now? Which way am I going to go next? You wonder if he's on the phone talking to somebody. We don't know that. In fact, Des, I guess we don't know for sure if the officers have made any contact with this person, because this is a stolen vehicle. So it's not as if they can necessarily trace the
Who's
plates
inside,
and
right?
find out who's inside, unless it's somebody that this person knows. But you always wonder those kinds. You ask yourself those kinds of questions. And, you know, if they're hesitating, what are they doing? Deciding, trying to think of which way to go next, or are they talking to somebody to give them directions, or, you know, either tell them to give up? We just don't know.
Yeah. Well, and I'm widening out the shot right here because you saw that the suspect kind of timed that light and went through it right as it was turning red. And you see La Habra there, how they want to make sure they slow down, going through that red light, come to a stop, and make sure that the other person who's getting ready to come through sees their flashing lights, and you know, that they don't cause a collision there. So there is that's probably the most dangerous thing that we've seen so far happen there. But they should be catching back up to the suspect, because there just doesn't really seem to be a very serious attempt by the suspect to get away from the police. I mean, we've seen so many pursuits where they're just so desperate, driving the wrong way, you know, wrong side of the road, up on the sidewalk, into a park, or anything, or, you know, anything like that to get away 80 miles an hour on one of these streets. This person has barely been going above the speed limit on any of these streets. For the most part, they've been stopping at lights. I think they've only gone through a couple of red lights, and even then not going super fast. So, you know, what is the plan here? Is it just to drag the clock out and go as far as they're able to before they run out of gas, or do they have a plan? My pilot Dylan says they may be running out of road up ahead. So I think this street is going to end, and the suspect may be forced to make a turn here pretty soon.
And there's not a lot of traffic in this area either. We see it's pretty light, even when he hits those intersections. Not a lot of traffic here, and let's see what he's going to do here. If he makes a right, he may have a little bit more road to hit, and that looks like the case.
He sure is going slowly there, though. That's the other thing. And just
would have been into
He must have
sorry, I
seen
was just
it.
going to say that was going to kind of end into a residential neighborhood right there, where they could have very easily turned into a dead end, any one of these many kind of suburban cul-de-sacs. But instead makes a turn onto Citrus Avenue. So doubling back. So now we're headed back west. I think this is the first time that we've been headed back west, back to where this all began. Still a long, long ways from La Habra, but reversing directions here westbound on Citrus Street.
All right, now
making a turn. He's even got his signal on.
Well, he's obeying traffic signals.
He sure is.
You know, Des, we're chuckling. You know, there's the other question, if I can remember what I was going to ask you. Yeah, you say he's going back, he's doubling back in the direction as to where this started. Because for a while I saw him on Eucalyptus Avenue, right? Eucalyptus, Haven, and I thought maybe that they had been making circles or staying in the same area.
Yeah.
But now, this even points out to something. Well, we just went through that light.
Huh.
That was a red light.
Yeah.
So.
I was also going to, point out, you guys, the La Habra Police is still with this, which every agency has their own reasons for giving it up and not giving it up. But I was curious. La Habra, not a very big city. We don't deal with them terribly often here at the desk. So I was curious, and I went to their webpage. They only have 27 officers in the whole department. Oh, now we're all kind of wrong way here. Oh,
It was a wide turn, though.
Yeah.
It was a
Briefly.
wide turn.
So La Habra only has 27 officers assigned to their whole department, and on each shift they only have 4. 2 assigned to the city's east side, assigned to the city's west side, and I think Des, there 3 of them are right here, right? So for such a small department that generally only has 4 patrol cars on duty at once, according to their website, it's interesting to me that they are continuing to keep this chase and not hand it off.
You can see that back door we've been talking about just kind of popping up and closing. To see it right there, it's just kind of moving as the car moves.
You know, why
down
do you
the road.
think? Why do you think that is, Des or Mike here? The reason that they're staying with this, as far as just La Habra, they just feel that this guy is going to give up eventually.
Yeah, and
because he hasn't presented himself to be a danger necessarily,
Right.
Or impacting traffic.
Yeah, I mean,
motorists.
there could be a couple of reasons. Sometimes we've seen if the crime or however the vehicle was stolen is a little bit more egregious. Sometimes the law enforcement agency will want to stick with it just to make sure that they're able to see it to an end. The other thing on the complete opposite side is if this is just a stolen vehicle, you may not have any other agencies that want it, right? He's never been on the freeway, so CHP is not going to get involved. And he's been kind of ping-ponging through these smaller cities that they probably don't want it either. So La Habra may be in it because they simply can't give it to anybody else, or it's something that they don't want to give up.
A lucky break for this driver. I bet he hasn't planned this out. He doesn't know that these smaller communities have fewer police officers to deal with him. Exactly.
The west side and the east side, and right now he's got maybe half of them.
That's right.
Yeah, 3/4, yeah. And avoiding the freeways. I mean, that's been his big thing. He's had several opportunities to get on a freeway and just never has.
You know, that's a pretty, well, not as high profile as some vehicles, but I can imagine even driving that at a high rate of speed would present, a bit of, that would be pretty tricky, even for the driver.
Well, right, yeah, and a couple of things working against law enforcement here is they can't see in. There's no rear window for them to look at to see what he's doing. When Des was looking at it earlier, those windows are dark, the front windows. So I don't even know that there it is right there. It even looks like the windshield is super dark. So I don't even know if the law enforcement helicopters are able to see in. I was trying to figure out what this truck might be, and I'm kind of leaning towards maybe some type of maintenance truck. If you have, Cisco is known for these semis that carry wholesale food to restaurants. And the only thing I can think is maybe this is a truck that if a semi-truck breaks down, they come and try to help fix it or fix air conditioning units in the trailers or something like that, which could be what this person, maybe they were after, whatever, as you mentioned, Juan, what was inside of it. But pit maneuver would be hard for a couple of reasons. They can't see him. The vehicle's a little top heavy. And La Habra doesn't have anybody to really back them up to bring, a pit maneuver. You want to have more than usually 3 officers to do something like that. And La Habra does not have that right now.
That's what I was thinking. Maybe that officer was getting real close to the back bumper to maybe use the side view mirror of the truck to see inside and see what's going on there. Because in other pursuits, recent pursuits, Pat, remember we've seen very active drivers, very,
Oh, we can see them, inside,
Can't see this.
agitation, more than one person generally. And I believe we've just, we're saying that one person is driving this vehicle. There's one person in this vehicle who happens to be the driver. Again, on another very dark road, Hellman Avenue in Harupa. And it does make you wonder at some point, does this person know where they're going? I mean, I don't know, to go on, roads like this that are really dark, maybe a little harder to maneuver.
But not a lot of traffic.
River road, not a lot of traffic at all. But look at that. That looks, I don't know, desolate from where, from where we are, that looks kind of desolate.
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of out in like a farming area right now. Actually, as I look out the window, it's very dark out here. So we're kind of back in, this is our map tracker telling us this is the Harupa area. So definitely kind of in a little bit of a more rural part of the Inland Empire, certainly compared to all the housing development. Well, I say that, and then of course we come right out of it into some housing development. So just kind of in some areas maybe still left to be developed out here. So River Road, Fuller Ranch Road in the Harupa area, very, very suburban out here, and yeah, it's just it's such a weird one. I was checking to make sure that this officer has a push bar on the front of their cruiser, and it looks like they do, but then I'm not clear even if this person is, if this officer is PIT certified, if they wanted to do something like that. Let's see if we can get a little look inside while this person gets ready to go underneath us here. And then of course it gets pretty dark, but I'm pretty sure we just saw the one person in there, just the driver. But, and I think, at first this came out, they were saying that this was a Toyota pickup, but it looks like this is a Ford, maybe a Ford F-250. I'm thinking this is one of the larger ones. Not sure if it's a diesel engine or not, but for sure not a vehicle that gets very good gas mileage. That I can tell you with quite a bit of certainty. And just taking it kind of gingerly here, 30, 40, maybe 50 miles an hour. It's kind of almost, dare I say, joyriding. Not trying to make light of this, but just kind of, there you go. See one of the two law enforcement helicopters there come through the shot. That was Angel on this one. So that's Anaheim PD's chopper that was lending some eyes from the air that just went through our shot. Yeah,
but certainly not aggressive, and not aggressive on the part of law enforcement. Not even the fact that there aren't as many in the area as Mike was telling us, but just, I guess, the fact because this guy isn't going as fast in terms of speed, and it's not very dangerous, and we don't consider this person to be dangerous so far, because we haven't heard that we believe this is a stolen vehicle. And the Habra police, though, seem to be staying with this, and as we just heard, Anaheim is overhead. But now they're in Norco, and it's just interesting to see this person drive on some of these really dark streets, and then it breaks out into a more residential area, or where you have more housing. Is there some kind of grade, Desmond? Like, could they be going up a hill or not? Or is it pretty much even? I'm asking that for
everything's
reason
pretty
too.
Flat out here. Yeah, once you get east of Chino Hills, it's all very flat, and north of the Santa Ana Canyon, there's really no hills all the way up to the San Gabriel Mountain, the San Bernardino Mountain. So
a lot of
super flat terrain. Yeah, lots of farms, lots of subdivisions. Of course, we all know Chino. Chino Hills, lots of dairy out there as well. A lot of those farms, more and more every day being turned into subdivisions. So it's kind of a little bit of both. A little bit of agriculture, farming, livestock, and residential neighborhoods. This one actually looks like a little bit one of the older neighborhoods here in the Norco area. So again, I'm just wondering, because it's just been so weird, the kind of the direction that the suspect has taken. Is this where they live? Are they taking the truck to where they live? Sometimes some of these suspects either want to surrender or get out and run into their own house. Wouldn't be the first time we've seen barricade situations start that way, but it's just so strange to always be in a pursuit where someone is not making any real serious attempt to get away from the authorities. It's like, what kind of is the point of all this? And I mean, what were you thinking was going to happen with this Cisco work truck? Really.
And this question is for either Mike or Desmond. Are we any closer to where this truck was first reported stolen? And it looks like those orange lights on the top just went out too. Did you see that?
Yeah, he keeps blacking out. Like, his headlights are off. So when those orange lights go on and off, he's turning the headlights on and off. So that's kind of new as well. And as far as Juan, your question about are we getting closer? No, not really. I mean, we're coming south now, and I guess he could, take the freeway back into Orange County, but we haven't really gone back west, which is where he came from. There is now another helicopter entering this. For a second, there were 3 helicopters, 3 law enforcement helicopters, so there were as many helicopters as there were patrol cars, but the helicopter that's coming in now is 40 King, and that is from San Bernardino Sheriff's. So their helicopter has now joined the party as well, or it looks like he's just kind of in the area. But Anaheim Angel is still the ones on top of this, and as this guy kind of turns his lights on and off, I can just really show you where we've been. So this is our helicopter's tail, and you can see we came all the way up here. And then if I find the CHP helicopter who's now leaving the scene, these are all the little squiggly lines here where we've started. And you can see CHP picked it up in Brea, and then they went all the way eastbound with it through Carbon Canyon, up and around Chino Airport, down through Eastvale, and now in Norco. And now I'll click on SkyCal right here as we kind of go along the Santa Ana riverbed right here on the Eastvale kind of Norco kind of line.
Okay, Mike, explain why all the choppers. Is it just make sure they have eyes on this truck just in case the ground units pull away or not, don't want to continue to engage? Because it's not like right now he's getting away from them because he's not driving fast at all.
Right, yeah, I mean, a couple of things. It looked like the CHP helicopter was up in the air prior to this. So they've, I think, pulled off probably for fuel. So you've got a little bit of that going on where they're swapping out for fuel. But yeah, I mean, he's in a really dark area right now. And if there end up being 2 people in the car and they both get out and run in separate directions, then you can have the helicopters kind of hang out. The other thing is as we kind of cross back and forth between cities and counties and all of this, each county or each city may have their helicopter get involved. So you have these periods of times where you have multiple helicopters overhead. Angel has been pretty consistently with this for a long time. CHP was actually over at first. Then Angel came in and we call it down low, where they're the lower helicopter, and then CHP was up higher. And Angel's been with us the whole time, and now 40 King kind of trailing along as we get real slow at this intersection here.
Mike, can you explain Angel and the other identifier you just mentioned?
That's weird.
Yeah, Angel, and I'm trying to see, I think that's Highway Patrol, Des. It must be blocking an intersection here. Maybe CHP is going to get involved in this. Angel is Anaheim PD's helicopter, and then I believe it was H5 onto the freeway, onto the 15.
Oh, no.
Yep.
Well, look at that other, other vehicle there.
First time on the freeway now.
And maybe now that we're on the freeway, we saw that CHP car. Maybe CHP will finally get involved and take this over and let all of the police officers from La Habra go back to La Habra.
Yeah, join the other small force that they have there. Yeah, this is interesting. If you want to get into the mind or try to get in the mind of this driver, why did he decide to get on the freeway when he stayed on surface streets for such a long time and such a long distance?
And maybe that just wasn't working.
So strange.
Maybe he realized the surface streets weren't working, so let's get on the freeway.
And I think that's a perfect reason. It just ain't working this way, so I'm just going to get on the freeway now.
Maybe we'll cover more ground, right? Get farther away.
Has CHP joined, Des?
No, not yet. It's still La Habra's police cruiser I can see back there. And so basically all that parading, we just did all that gallivanting around Chino, Ontario, really seemed to be for nothing. I thought, maybe this person was going to an area that they know or where they live or something like that, but that was all, it all looked like that was pointless as we're now on the southbound 15 making our way towards the 91, and we'll see. If we go 91 west, then we'll really be headed back to where this started, back towards Orange County. But right lane of the freeway, again, I mean, it's only slightly above the speed limit here, very close to the speed limit, 65, 70 miles an hour, sticking to one lane, no swerving all over the place, no cutting vehicles off, no driving on the shoulder, nothing like that. I mean, it's really light traffic, so there's really would be no reason to even drive that crazy necessarily, but just so strange all the way around.
You spread out the joyride. You get on the freeway, got a little bit more, concrete, more road to cover. Not trying to be fun. It really does when you think about it. Like, what else? What's the reason here?
And safer for two. There's no pedestrians on the freeway, obviously. It's safer for this pursuit to stay on freeways. Do we know how long La Habra would stick with this pursuit? Will they see it all the way through, even if it enters different jurisdictions?
But they have so far. The only reason they would
Yeah.
give it up is if CHP got involved, because CHP doesn't share. It's either theirs or it's not. Now, and Des, I don't know how far ahead you can look, but I'm looking at our mapping system here, and it does look like he is going to hit some pretty decent traffic at the 91. It looks like there's some road closures in place and maybe a ramp closure. So I'd be curious to see if you see any of that coming up as he goes down the 15 here.
Yeah, we'll see here. As I'm looking up ahead, I don't quite see the traffic yet headed southbound. Of course, the 91 seems to be perpetually under construction. And here you can see, actually, right on cue, as we hit a couple of the cones there on the right side. It looked like it was just a ramp that was closed, though, on that one. So we are well into Corona, though, and coming up to the 91. And I definitely see traffic on the eastbound 91. But that's not going to affect the suspect here. Looks like they might be sticking on the 15. Are we going to be headed to San Diego County on this one? It's certainly starting to trend that way.
Yeah, we're trying to second guess this person about.
Is it getting off here?
No, there he is.
Nope.
Is there an
Nope.
Did he make a transition?
No. Yeah, it looks like we're actually going westbound 91 now. So where there is, as you can see, there's been so much construction over the years. We've talked about it many times here on this 91 freeway, this vexing drive for folks living in the Inland Empire and work in Orange County and LA County. But here we go. And westbound is wide open. Eastbound, I can see there is quite a bit of construction traffic, especially from the East 91 to the North 15. But for this suspect here, got a wide open drive. I mean, really the kind of freeway conditions that Inland Empire commuters dream of, I have to tell you, on this westbound 91 as we make our way through Corona, and then we'll be at the 71, which would loop us back towards Chino Hills or continue westbound towards Orange County.
So really at this point, it doesn't appear to be a rhyme or reason as to the avenues that this person is taking. You know, when you try to surmise roads, going back to where he started from, but then he makes a detour, if you will. He's kind of close behind that vehicle, or at least from what it looks like here.
Yeah, it looks pretty close.
If I was in the car in front of him, knowing that law enforcement are behind him. But now, on the 91 westbound, and not exactly sure what the next move is. And as Desmond mentioned, CHP is not involved as of yet. So this person is just continuing to drive pretty much the speed limit. Okay, now he's going to get around this car. But we haven't seen really any aggressive moves or moves that are what you would call reckless at this point. We always wonder about the person in the vehicle, if we don't know exactly who it is, if they're armed or not. Haven't heard anything like that. Of course, that's not something that I guess you would know necessarily if you haven't had any contact with this person. What was that?
Almost looked like he was going to get off.
Like
Is that a rest stop?
Yeah, that
a
was
truck
just
stop?
kind of the there was an exit there at Lincoln. Very kind of typical maneuver by some of these suspects, but probably the most aggressive thing that this person was done, kind of the little psych out there, like I'm taking the ramp and actually psych, no I'm not, then back on the freeway. So that's what the suspect did. But you know, again, they're not going that fast, and CHP is right there, or not CHP, La Habra, excuse me. You know, a maneuver like that was not likely to fool that agency, and even if it did, there were still two other cruisers that were going to continue on this one. There are three of them behind them, and a helicopter, which he has to know, probably can hear, because one of the airships looked like they were down there pretty low. Probably hear the chopper blades down at that altitude. I did want to mention, because we did actually hear the airships chattering a little bit, coordination saying that they were talking about having a spike strip set up back before they got on the 15. They were trying to coordinate somewhere where they thought that they could get some spike strips in place, but that didn't come to fruition since they got on the freeway. But now we are getting off the freeway. No psych out here, getting off at Maple Street.
Still in
6th,
Corona, huh?
And we'll see what happens now as, yep, we are still in Corona.
All right, now he's coming to...
He's at a green light, and he's taking a pause for a sec.
Yeah, stopping completely
Oh,
now.
wow.
Just out and, oh no,
Oh, no.
back on bad.
Well, that's
oh
not
boy.
not a good thing to do.
Definitely didn't want to do that.
No, now that's
That
assault
just
with a
escalated things.
deadly weapon.
Yep. Absolutely. And again,
Oh, doing it again?
Wow.
not very fast, but definitely bumping back into him, maybe 5 or so miles an hour. That is really going to get La Habra's attention. Now they might try to pit maneuver to stop this. We'll see, because I think he realizes he made a turn into a dead end.
So he was trying to get out of there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
wow. Look at
he
that.
went for
Just
it.
like that. Now smashing into
Both of them.
Yep, that
Both
really got La
vehicles.
Habra's
Now they
attention. And
pinned
now
him
all
in.
3 of them boxing him in. Boxing him in.
Wow.
And out with guns
Oh,
drawn.
he's
Look at
still
this.
still trying to get away.
No. Wow. Well, this is a big vehicle. It weighs a lot and a lot of
Oh, that's
torque in
dangerous.
these tires. Oh, my
Oh, wow,
goodness.
through a
Wow.
fence.
Well, all right.
Right?
This,
It's stuck
Well, maybe he's stuck.
with a fence and in between some trees,
well, he's going to
and
back up.
just refusing to stop. I think he's smashed into all 3 police cruisers now at this point.
Yep.
These officers got to be careful because they don't have the protection of their vehicles. They have guns. This is a very, very sticky situation for the authorities. He might be lodged over the curb right here. Look at him slamming. Kind of slammed more into the tree than the truck, though. Oh my
loose.
goodness.
All right.
I cannot believe this.
Just when we thought this was a pretty normal look, he's got
Oh, boy.
dragging
Oh, my God.
30.
Oh,
Through
no.
another fence.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
my God, onto the
no,
freeway.
No, onto the freeway. Oh, my God,
On the
onto the
wrong
91
way?
freeway. We'll try to get
Wrong
I don't
way.
believe this.
Wrong way.
On the wrong way now.
Coming
Turned
off
a
too.
complete 180. Oh, I can't believe this.
Well, a
It
lot of
looks like,
smoke here,
it's
Des.
got
So
a lot of smoke coming out here. Might be a bad tire. We're going to get a
Damaged
head-on
tire.
collision
Yeah.
if we're not careful here. I just hope everyone can see the spotlight right here and are slowing down. This already had so many close calls.
Oh, my goodness.
Going eastbound in lanes of the westbound 91, light traffic conditions, people flying up in the left lane, no doubt, as well, where all of the faster traffic is. I can't even believe that truck survived that fall onto the 91. The truck is probably disabled at this point.
I
There
think
was
it
a lot
is.
of smoke coming out. Probably did a lot of damage to the engine, or at the very least the radiator. We saw a lot of smoke coming out here. At least the vehicle is stopped, but now CHP is going to have to come and stop traffic before they can make any attempt to make contact with this person and get them out of the vehicle. I just cannot believe how quickly this changed and how desperate
there's law
things became
enforcement.
now.
let's see what's
Is
going to
that
happen
Yes,
CHP?
we've
here.
got, I think it's a sheriff's deputy coming in here to stop traffic, but wow, what a change.
Yeah, this
Mm-hmm.
when things were going relatively calm, normal, so to speak.
Yep.
Oh, and out.
Oh, now he's out.
It's a
It's
it's a lady.
woman. It's a
Oh
lady.
no,
My.
she's running across lanes of the freeway. Oh, my God! Oh no, we
that's
need to keep
so
it wide
dangerous.
right here. Oh my God! Oh, wow! Oh boy! I
Okay, she's going to make it
amazingly
across.
didn't get hit. I can't believe it. Across lanes of the freeway.
This
My
really has.
heart was really racing there,
Yeah.
and
So was
now
ours.
across the 91 freeway. Oh boy, Juan and Pat, I just can't believe this.
No, we can't
Neither
either.
can we.
This really has turned into something that we did not expect.
Look, she's trying to hail somebody. She's trying to get somebody to stop.
Oh, no.
Oh, no,
boy.
don't get in the
No,
car.
don't wanna-
Yeah, well, they
Is her
did.
dress coming off? It looks like her jacket, something's.
She might have a vest. I think that's a vest, Juan. She just
Must
dropped
have.
something.
They were in a wig?
No,
A
something
wig?
else.
They were wearing a wig.
The wig fell off, and
Okay, we'll try to get behind the Denny's here.
maybe it's
okay.
not a woman.
But there's law enforcement
and
again.
into the Denny's.
Oh,
running-
no.
running into the
Oh,
Denny's.
no.
Was that
This
the
isn't
person
good.
running to the Denny's with the wig off?
Yeah, her wig fell off and
Yeah,
came around.
We've really seen
this-
everything with this pursuit.
Yeah, we have. Well, let's hope that
Wow.
they can get this person, that they're not armed.
Well, somebody
And then he can take him
pointed
into custody.
officers that the person had gone inside the Denny's. So, I mean, it's so quick, right? The wig came off, part of her clothes
there's the
came off.
canine.
So, that could be a
they've
man
got
in
the canine,
disguise.
too.
And we got a canine here arriving at the Denny's. So,
Corona PD's here quick. I mean, for her to them to cross the freeway, and then Corona PD was already in this parking lot.
And maybe, you know what, that's another reason
They
they
just
had so
want it
many
back.
choppers in the sky. They certainly were keeping their eyes on this vehicle.
well, they're surrounding the Denny's, so there's no
now-
way that.
Well, now I think they might have lost
think
her.
They might have spotted this person.
Well, maybe she ran out I saw the canine unit come run here to the back really quick, and now the other officers are running as well. Here's another officer here at the top of the parking lot, a couple of them who chased her through that opening in the fence. There's police running everywhere, and it tells me that they do not have eyes on the suspect now.
Wow. Well, we've been looking.
that
We didn't
was
see
fab.
the
We didn't
person.
see them
yeah.
come out.
No.
Well, you know, what I'm wondering is this building's got big overhangs. I wonder if she shimmied along the side of the building and back around and never actually went inside. Because I was watching the windows of that Denny's and nobody, you know, jumped or did anything when we thought she ran in. So maybe she never actually made it inside.
That could be.
Wow. Well,
Now this is really, just when we thought it couldn't get any more crazier, it
That-
certainly has, because now
Yeah.
they can't find the suspect.
That canine sure looks like he's ready to make an arrest.
And what is the suspect? We thought it was a
Yep.
male, then it looked like a woman, but then the wig came off, and I saw very
Part of the
short
clothes-
hair, so really not sure.
Yep. Short hair jeans
it
and a
is-
t-shirt
if
from
it is
a blonde wig and a
male or
red
a woman or a
vest type dress. Yeah. All right, we're going to watch this replay again, Pat. Look at it right here. You can see like a red vest, as you were saying, a blonde wig. Looks like
Different color
a
shoes.
white shoe and a black shoe.
And there
Part of
goes
it
the
comes
wig.
off. There goes the wig. There goes something else.
okay, that's good there.
And
and that's
we
when we
did see
lose.
somebody.
It seems
See,
like they
we
would have
think-
had
we
eyes.
think it
on
might have
them.
been-
Building
Is that
surrounding
yeah?
here.
That's I thought that
That's
was that
what I
person
thought
there.
that person too. In what looked like a white tank top or white t-shirt.
But you see the other person inside that nobody's
Yeah,
moving.
that's what Mike and Des were saying, that this person in the window here at the Denny's really wasn't
Reacting at all.
reacting at all.
They were only a few steps behind her though when we thought that they ran into the Denny's here, and I would have to imagine that they would have seen, you know, inside the windows as they were running in after them, and so hopefully just all of the kind of scrambling around was just to make sure that they have the building sealed on all sides, and I think that is the case. Now they have this surrounded, and you know, we don't know what all is going on in there, if the suspect is just hiding somewhere in the bathroom,
I was
or
gonna say, could've gone to
if
us,
they're making threats against another patron or anything. It's not clear, but now I'm thinking that they do have eyes on this person, but more and more police are coming in. Now you can see as I widen out, you know, what started with just the 3 from La Habra escalated really quickly. Now we have close to a dozen units from various agencies that are down here, as well as the helicopter still overhead. So I think the suspect is inside the building. It's just a matter of where are they holed up in there.
Did they ask Desmond, some of those people from the Denny's, to come outside? I saw some people just you know, just north of that sidewalk there where you see the canine officer. It looked like maybe they had moved some of the Denny employees or customers out of the way for a little bit, because perhaps this person is still inside. Right there, see right by that tree.
Yeah, I think so. I think I concur with you. That those were some people that they were trying to get out. But now here we see an officer who was just
Another
inside, kind of running out. So, boy, I thought we were going to see the suspect come out in handcuffs really quick. And
I did too.
I'm surprised at how long this has taken. But you know, we were zoomed in here not for very long. It would be hard for me to imagine the suspect would have ran back out the back and would not have been seen, because the authorities were following. There were still plenty of cops that were coming through that opening in the fence right there. They would have seen her running out the back door, out of the emergency exit back there. So it's just, gosh, I wish we could see what is going on. If we had X-ray vision, how many people are in there and where they're hiding, or what that suspect is doing, and if anyone else, you know, is kind of at wrong place, wrong time involved in this whole mess now.
Well, you know, it started to get weird when they actually started backing into the officers. It was pretty calm up until when they backed into the first officer, the first car, and then backed into another, and then tried to get away, go through some trees, and stopped. That was when it really got weird.
And we're showing
Because up until then, it was pretty normal.
And then we're showing that replay again, Pat. Look, this person going under a fence, and slowly as they kept running, just parts of their outfit came just flying right off. Looked like they were trying to stop this person. See, there goes the wig. I think it's going to go in just a sec here. And like you noticed there, a black shoe and a white shoe. And there goes the wig.
Socks.
And I'm wondering if cops
something
didn't...
else that came off.
Yeah. I'm wondering if cops didn't get a good look at that person right before they transformed.
Before
Could they identify
disrobed
them there at the Denny's?
It's
Well,
interesting.
we've seen people walk very casually, trying to fool officers and everybody else, right?
We've
But
seen it before, right?
they didn't have that much time to do that, did they?
Yeah, I don't think so either. And they just had so many eyes on them. I mean, 2 law enforcement helicopters. You know, Des was just kind of tight there on the front door of the Denny's, and there's a second dog in there. So there actually are 2 canines here. You have the one sitting outside, and I saw the other one thrashing around in there, Des, and it looked like they actually like tossed out like a newspaper stand or something like that, right?
Yeah, I saw that as well, just for a second. These dogs that they use are a different breed. They don't use German Shepherds anymore. These are Malinois, which are, I believe, originally from Eastern Europe. And these dogs are really, really hyper, much more so than German Shepherds, but a lot easier maintenance-wise than German Shepherds. Unfortunately, that great breed has a lot of health issues when they get older, and that's a big part of the reason why law enforcement has switched over to this different breed of dogs. But they can be really, really wound up. Almost every time we see these dogs involved, when they get amped up, they are ready. So I mean, it's very possible that they made contact with the suspect right there at the entry to the door, and they haven't brought him out. I'm not sure. We'll see what happens here. I mean, you know, they're looking kind of relaxed now at this moment. So I just wish the windows were a little bit taller that we could see inside.
And let's go back over. Didn't we see people leaving? We saw people, I wonder if they were told to leave, you know, to exit the restaurant, or they just took it upon themselves. You see all this activity and all these lights outside, you just kind of decide,
Something's going
I'm
on.
gonna try to get out of here. So now we are just looking at this, well, there's a Carl's Jr. and then
Right. The Denny's.
the Denny's. That's where they went inside. We thought they went inside.
Yeah.
Or we think they went inside.
Are they still trying to clear out the Denny's? Perhaps is the person hiding inside? Because they haven't left that front door of the Denny's. They're still paying close attention to that.
Yeah, I think they got anyone out who they wanted to get out pretty quickly. They're, I mean, standing right there in the doorway. I feel like there's a lot of action just a couple of feet, you know, up here that we could see if they're talking with the suspect, or if the suspect's on the ground and not cooperating. We just can't see inside. But I can tell you that a lot of folks on the 91 were in for a very rude awakening with what we saw happen. And just briefly, both directions of the freeway had been closed. You can see all the westbound lanes are still shut down, and eastbound's got all that construction traffic going on. So some wide-ranging effects here. Now we're starting to see the officers walk a little bit more deeply into the restaurant, and now it's just kind of a waiting game to see if they're going to be coming out here.
We're just doing some replays, Daz. We're showing the driver just plowing to police officers and then
Pulling that fence, and sparks start to fly, and
then running over another fence and getting on the freeway going the wrong way.
And how did they stay upright too?
Exactly.
After they dropped down onto the freeway.
And look at this person run.
Here's the scary part. Very close calls.
This person being hit. But they made it across the freeway, and as we saw there, through another parking lot, and we surmised that they were in this Denny's restaurant.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, we nearly saw the suspect could have easily killed someone on the freeway. They could have easily landed on top of another vehicle, and that vehicle would have just absolutely crushed anything they landed on. I mean, they could have imagined, I mean, the suspect could have injured themselves with that fall. I mean, it was pretty significant to fall off of that embankment like that onto the roadway, and then take their own life, you know, into their own hands, rushing over. We saw within inches, it looked like, people in the standing in the barrier there between the fast track lanes and the mainline lanes of the freeway, and then waiting there for an opportunity. Just this is so harrowing.
And this is when you want to interview that suspect, because you want to know, what were you thinking? What happened that made this go so dramatically wrong?
And so quickly too.
And you're driving, you know, pretty fine within the speed limit, and then all of a sudden you decide, what, I'm cornered, so you back up into police officers' vehicles, which could be assault with a deadly weapon.
Yep.
And then you practically crash the vehicle. could have, as you say, killed yourself.
Hurt others. There's obviously a problem now on the freeway nearby, right? They got to clear out that truck. They got to tow it away. So traffic's going to be backing up on that freeway right there. And
What the thinking?
yeah, definitely not thinking, but they thought they had a plan, right? They were dressed, they were disguised to look like somebody else, and we saw the whole disguise come apart there in the parking lot, and just so strange. They still don't know where this person is.
Really quick one, Pat. I was just looking, and I don't, Mike in the control room, I don't know if you can take my computer. I just kind of wanted to show you this part where this suspect drove off of. This is the part right here. So this is the overpass that we saw them kind of go under. So this is what they went off of. So it's, it's not huge, but it's not nothing.
No, there's fencing there too.
You got a concrete wall, and a little bit of fencing here, and just lucky it's the time of the day that it is, and there was not anybody in these lanes that they then landed on. But this is a decent little drop off of the side of the freeway here.
Yeah. Well, they clearly took a shot in the dark. They had no idea this is exactly
literally
what they were
in the dark,
come across, right? But they just wanted to get away, and here we are at this Denny's, the focus here at this Denny's, and as you can see, Pat, more and more officers have arrived here on the scene. Doesn't seem like there's a lot of action going on. And here's, the slow-mo, it doesn't even look like this person has pants on. If you look real good here at the...
light color.
It's like leggings
a very
or something.
tan,
or
tan
leggings,
color.
A white shoe, a black shoe.
And that blonde wig.
Just fascinating.
That's
Yep. And it's about to come off right around here. You can see it start pulling away from the head. And something fell off there. Was that a shoe, Pat? One of the shoes that fell off?
Been. Yeah, because now it looks like two black shoes, right? Or socks or something.
Something's going on there.
This officer's been running back and forth to the car.
This person must be somewhere inside that Denny's, huh?
Yeah, move all the way to the south side. See, we're just my pilot Dylan moving Sky Cal around to see. I wanted to see if there are windows on the south side right here that we could see into more easily. We have no idea what is going on inside. Here comes this officer running back in again. I don't know if this is the officer that's dealing directly with the suspect or what, but we'll just continue the orbit here to see if we can get a better peek inside of this restaurant. But you can see covered from all angles here. If the suspect is inside, they are not going to escape. I'm just really surprised that they have not let the suspect out yet in handcuffs.
Yeah, wonder why that is. And another thing, you're hoping, well, you don't want to see anybody hurt themselves. We don't know what could be going on inside at Denny's, because we certainly don't know what's going on in that person's mind from what we've seen.
Clearly willing to take any measure at all. We talked about this a bunch, but just how calm the pursuit was for the whole time until they got boxed in. That was the first time we'd really seen them in a desperate situation. They didn't hit any traffic really. They didn't nothing that they would need to get up on a sidewalk and go around. That was kind of the first time they really found themselves between a rock and a hard place, and that was the decision that they made. And it just was crazy to me, how that happened. And luckily, Corona PD all over it were here really quick, because those, poor 3 La Habra officers, were back all the way on the other side of the freeway.
Then just felt trapped, obviously. And if they felt that way, there's been so much time that has gone by.
Well, and you just
don't want to think the worst, but watching events not necessarily exactly like this one, but still, when people are trapped and have desperate thoughts.
And it always makes me, I've been here for pursuits. I remember one specifically on our morning show where this almost exact scenario played out, but the officers shot the person. Because this truck is now a deadly weapon, very clearly ramming the officers both forward and backwards. And to my knowledge, no shots were fired.
No, well, I wondered about that when they were surrounding the vehicle, the truck. And they knew they were going to, like there.
Especially when they're out of their...
Yes.
Yeah.
They had the opportunity, and as you say, that has happened before.
Yeah,
because not only did there were more than once that they backed into
and drove forward too. And a couple of opportunities. This person's in so many different ways lucky they're not hurt, from not getting shot by the cops to not getting hurt right there, to not running into another car, to not getting hit when they ran across the freeway. It's just amazing how many chances this person has taken with their life today, and it's panned out for them so far.
We just don't know how long.
Right.
And again,
and what's going on inside.
Exactly. You don't even see officers at the door. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I did just hear that the some chatter here from the airships overhead that they have released the canine to go in and do a search. So the dog is in there looking for the suspect. So it sounds like they have not had eyes on this suspect. I mean, I wonder if they just went running into the kitchen or maybe locked themselves in, you know, the money room or something like that. Or if they just ran into the bathroom. But they apparently did not have eyes on this suspect is what it sounds like. And that the canine has been released to go try to find her.
So that thing that he just walked in the door with, I don't know if he's caught that. That is like a battering ram that they would use to breach a door if the door is locked. So I'm wondering if maybe they're holed up in a back room, as Des was just mentioning. Yeah.
And watching, just looking at some of the Twitter traffic from some of our viewers listening that are familiar with these type of restaurants where they say there are a lot of cubby holes in areas, attic spaces where perhaps this person could be hiding. So that might be a thing as well.
For a battering ram, makes you think they're in an area that's locked.
Right, an office, right?
Or somewhere they put a chair up against the door or something like that, that they're going to use that tool to beat down the door and then probably have the canine go in.
But we just saw this officer going. Go ahead, Desmond.
No, I've just kind of just been replaying this in my head, how we went from, you know, a stolen vehicle. I mean, not from what we hadn't heard being taken by violent means or anything like that. I mean, sure, it probably would have been, you know, definitely some punishment for that. But then to just accelerate that, to throw your life, you know, to the wind and run across lanes of the 91 freeway like that to escape, it just makes you wonder what is going on, you know, in this suspect's head. Especially because you would have thought if they were going to make any serious attempt to have gotten away, it would have been in the car, not running across lanes of the freeway to try to avoid the officers. So it's just so crazy how all of this has been stitched together, and now, you know, potentially hiding inside of a locked room in this Denny's. Just a very bizarre ending. I thought it was going to end right there, and they pulled into that dead end, and they were just going to get out and surrender because they had run out of roadway. But no, and then to take this insane turn.
What heightens this, Des, is if that was a disguise or, I mean, just the outfit, you know, especially the wig.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, to just fly off like that because you're running.
And it was a disguise, right?
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Well,
what was that about?
We saw that, a couple months ago in Koreatown. There was a pursuit suspect that got into a crash, ran, and during that reached up, grabbed a wig, and tossed it off. So who knows if this is their regular wardrobe choice or if it was for these purposes, that if you're going to run, then you can at least change your appearance a little bit.
And we've seen that before where people are running from police and they have sweatshirts on and they take those off
yeah,
and they have different
clothing.
colored T-shirts and all sorts of things.
But but for this, just to have this person dressed like that in the first place is suspect. I mean, and the fact that they stole a Cisco
work truck.
So a lot of questions.
And I don't imagine a wardrobe change is going to do much for this person at this point.
Not at this point, right?
I mean, they were being followed by not only 2 law enforcement helicopters, cops on the ground. There's 4 TV helicopters in the air. There's, you know.
Can these German Shepherds pick up scent like a bloodhound might or other?
It depends on the dog. To my knowledge, it's usually kind of one or the other. You have drug like scent dogs. You have tracking hound type of things, and then you have the more bite dogs that will go into these situations. That doesn't mean they certainly can't be trained for both. I just don't know the specifics of this.
Well, because the wig would have sweat or the scent of the person, right? And it was left there on the ground. So use that, but
there are more spectators gathering.
Yeah, we got a crowd showing up.
That's for sure. I've seen people taking pictures because at first I thought were those undercover some people, but no, these seem to be just people descending in the area, maybe watching a broadcast and realizing that this is happening. Don't see any movement in Denny's.
I don't see it either,
Which makes me wonder again, did everybody leave?
I hope.
Customers and the employees, we don't know that for sure.
9:45, 30-ish at night. Who knows how busy it was. I mean, we saw people in the window. But yeah, I just can't imagine what they're thinking. What they're thinking, just sitting there trying to eat a meal, and this person comes in.
Desmond, did you see those officers with a battering ram come back outside?
I have not. I've not seen any of the officers come back out, although we did just also hear their helicopter overhead say that they think that they have the suspect on their infrared system. So they seem to feel pretty good about where this person is inside. Apparently, yeah, maybe you know, hold up in an office or something, like we said. So I imagine that, you know, the officers go in there, they're not likely to just ram the door down. They're still going to give this suspect a chance to come out.
Talk the person out.
You know, you're gonna. Now there
something's
is
happening.
the dog. I think I just see the canine. Okay, well, disappearing back into the depths of the restaurant. But that was, I believe, the dog that they had said. Oh, here's another one as well. Let's see who. Yeah, so again, multiple canines.
Yep. It's like the third one.
Can infrared?
There we go.
Oh,
there
we go.
There's the suspect.
Suspect in custody.
Finally out. Okay.
Still can't
So,
tell if
4
that's
fingers,
male,
code
female.
4. Let's, now we've got a ill-placed tree one. Oh, here we go. I'll see if we can double in.
Wow, right to the back of that
Kinda
cruiser,
go with our
huh?
in and out story. Yep. Yeah, right there.
We're
to
not
the
going to
back.
get a good chance to see.
Well, I would like to know.
A little bit dark. I think it
sure
was.
if he was
I
with
think it
him.
was a female though.
Wow.
Well, here comes the fire department, so she
Yeah.
must be getting medically cleared first, so maybe we'll get a chance to see that way.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll move back around here, but boy, look at all these cameras over here. Got some stringers that came out.
Yeah.
Certainly trying to get some footage here of this suspect, but started off pretty docile, took an immediate turn into chaos and a couple of very, very close calls, and it took some time, but the suspect now in custody.
Yeah, going back to that infrared, I was curious whether or not that infrared can go through cement and through insulation in an attic and inside a building, can it? I mean, Desmond was saying that they picked up an infrared signal from the chopper.
To my knowledge, I think it can go through wood. I don't know, cement may be a little bit more difficult, but I think this looked like an older kind of wood structure to me, so probably. And then you know, the hard thing about that is you got a restaurant with maybe other people inside or other things that would give off heat signatures, but you know, enough for it to be able to help them for sure.
Well, all right, we're looking at, still can't make out the suspect or not. I know you said that they sent for a fire truck.
Yeah, it looks
or
like
possibly to check this person out medically.
Just fine as they got out, which, you know, kind of just surprising. I mean, they could have just been running on adrenaline earlier. I mean, I'd be curious to see how the suspect feels in the morning after, you know, slamming that truck onto the 91.